overall. So let's see how this thing goes. Wow! Hey everyone, it's Ben Hardy here, and in today's video, I'm going to be going over the all-new S60 Recharge Black Edition. This is actually a really rare S60, and I didn't even know about it, but we're going to go over it in today's video. Anyways, as always, a huge shout out and thank you to the Volvo here in downtown Salt Lake for giving me some time with this S60. I'm going to include a link to their inventory in the description down below so you can check out what they have currently. If you have any questions or need any help, just ask for Mark. And then on a side note, if you save time and money the next time you purchase a car, link to my car buying guide in the description down below. Let's get into it. Under the hood, we have a turbocharged 2-liter 4-cylinder that's paired to an 8-speed automatic transmission and a hybrid system. Total system output is a whopping 455 horsepower and then 523 pound-feet of torque. This has an 18.8 kilowatt-hour battery pack, which gives it 40 miles of driving range, all electric. You have 31 miles per gallon normal, so that's without any electric power, and then you have 74 mpge for the rating with everything combined. Before we go over the front end, I do want to mention, if you see more videos just like this, then I recommend you subscribe because I post content every single day. So starting with the hood, you guys can see that it's just flat there in the center, and you got distinctive lines on either side. And then coming down below, I love how everything's all blacked out with this Black Edition. Who would have thought? But anyways, you got the Thor's Hammer LED daytime running light with the LED lights, camera there in the center of the Volvo logo, and it just looks cool. And then pulling it all together, you can see that this thing is just menacing for a Volvo. It's crazy. Come around the side here, our tire and wheel setup is 235/40/19 in the front and over in the rear as well. And then you can see the wheel is also all blacked out, and I like the overall design. I think it's pretty cool. Now we're actually on the other side of the car, the driver's side, and so that I can press this, you guys can see the charging port because it's a plug-in hybrid. And then when you put it all together, this thing, again, it looks so cool with everything being all blacked out. You just don't usually see that with a Volvo. So here's our key fob. You guys can see we've got our unlock function or lock function in the opening here for the trunk. Now, one of the big benefits of the S60 is actually the storage space. It's a larger size sedan, and so you have a larger sized trunk, which, yeah, I'm definitely solid with the overall practicality. Now, apparently this has the kick function. I'm notoriously horrible at figuring out how to work these things. Doo-doo. Anyways, we're just gonna do this and move on with our lives. So you guys can see here with the lights, and then again with all the badges, they're all blacked out here on the back, which is really cool. We got the parking sensors there at the bottom as well. And then pulling it all together, I understand why they call it the Black Edition now. But seriously, this is a cool looking car. Now taking a look at the door panel, you guys can see pretty interesting here with like the cloth trim, and then you can see the leather trim down below with the stitching. That looks fantastic. And I like the look of the door handle too. And then here's a look at the seats, and again you got that like cloth trim right there, and then yeah, overall cool look on those too. Now legroom here in the back is actually really solid. We got this little netting here in the back as well, and then we got a USB, we've got heated seats, giant hump there in the center, which is kind of interesting. And then when it comes to headroom, it's actually pretty solid. And of course, don't you fret, we have our armrest, whoa, cup holder situation. Now here's the front door panel. You guys can see again with the cloth trim. Look at the padding and stitching down below. And then we got our memory seat function here. And then if you're wondering, the mirrors do power fold in, and then all your window controls. And then the mirrors also have blind spot monitoring. Front seats look just as cool as the back seats. I love that design on the seat. That is definitely unique. And then we do have all of our power adjustments on the side. Almost forgot, we got our recharge plaque that's kind of hard to see. And then you can see the opening for the trunk and then the gas cap release. Now taking a look at the steering wheel, you got really nice padding all around. You guys can see some controls for the center, and then also that is to like get rid of the map. You guys will see that in a moment. Adaptive cruise control, and then we have our turn signal light stock, windshield wiper stock. And then here is the center gauge cluster. So full digital gauge cluster, as you can see. And then, like I said, you can get rid of the map if you want. And then it lets you know stuff like, hey, your fuel range, and then also our battery range, which is 0 miles. RIP. Now we have this fancy 360 camera system. Sorry about the glare, by the way, but really good resolution there. And then I can press this and then change the viewpoint here with the camera system. So overall, really good. I like how it changes like the actual like where the camera picture shows based on the side of the car that it's showing. I think that's pretty cool. And then as for the rest of the infotainment system, first off, when you press functions, response time is super solid. Now we do have a, if it'll pull up, Let's try it again. There we go. Dual zone climate system here. And then we do have heated seats and a heated steering wheel for the front as well. And then if you go on the settings tab, this is really important. Go to driving. This will let you go through the different drive modes. So you have your hybrid, power, pure, and then constant all-wheel drive. And then your battery usage, there's a little thing over this. But you basically have your charge and then your hold, and I'm not going to pick up the sticker. But basically your mode that's just going to use the battery. So it's going to let it deplete normally, if that makes sense. You got a little radio control down below with some more controls right next to it, and then stuff for the climate setup. Lots of fancy stuff here in the center. As you can see, got the cool crystal shifter there, and then again our engine stop start button, parking brake, and then your auto hold as well. And then look at like the nice stitching and padding. And center console has decent storage space actually. Got some USBs and everything with that. And well, that's all. Nice padding and stitching here on the dash as well. And then look at down below. They did a really good job with the material use in this, I think. Oh, and let's just take a look at the glove box. It's pretty big. And then up top here, we do have our control for the sunroof. It's not quite a panoramic, but it's also too big to not be a regular one. I don't know what I just said, but it's like middle-sized sunroof. There you go. So here's our window sticker for this S60 Recharge. As you can see, again, black edition, so special edition. But there's all the standard equipment and everything, so I guess feel free to freeze frame. $57,950 is the base MSRP. Now this does have some options added to it. So the black edition, metallic paint, and then blacks out everything, basically, and then gives you some of the interior stuff. And then charcoal headliner, so it makes the headliner also blacked out. Cool. Total MSRP, $60,370. Let's see how this thing drives. Let's talk about visibility before we set off here. Here's your visibility of the hood, and hopefully you can now see the heads-up display. Both of the mirrors, which like I said, do have blind spot monitoring, and throughout the rest of the rear. Also, this finish on the speaker looks really cool because it's all blacked out with this black edition. Let's set off. Okay, so starting off in this black edition, and what I'm going to be doing is having it in the charge mode for now, and yeah, hybrid mode as well. So basically what this will do is it will give us a little bit of charge with the battery. You can see you got a little charge icon by that, because if I do hold, lock, yeah, when you do charge, it has a little lightning bolt by it to let you know that it's charging it. Just so we can get, you know, I mean, it'll always give us the full power with accelerations. That's the thing with these plug-in hybrids. They always save just enough juice so that if you go full throttle, there's something. But it'll still be good to, you know, just be able to get, I guess, a little bit of charge into it. Suspension is actually really good. This thing I'm really impressed with. Volvo's done a good job with modernizing their suspension to make it really comfortable. Oh, this thing's great right off the bat, I can tell you that right now. So the first thing that I'm noticing is tons of torque, low end too. So one thing I do like about Volvo's modern powertrains is they've done a really good job with, again, taking such a small engine, a 2-liter 4-cylinder, and just packing so much, you know, power into it. And also, like, again, on the low end, so you don't feel like you have to like really wring it out, because sometimes with these smaller engines, you do feel that way. The next thing to note is that turn signal indicator sound. It's so unique to Volvo. If you guys ever have a chance, definitely listen to it, because it's definitely a unique sound. Yeah, so smooth. I really like how this drives. I've driven Volvo's fully electric vehicles, and I'm okay with them, but I definitely do prefer the hybrid. So we're gonna pop it into the power mode, and we'll pop it into the not do anything, so that I want the full juice just to see how fast this thing actually is. And while we're waiting for this person to cross, super good seat comfort as well. That's something else that's a big positive here with the S60. It's just a very comfortable luxury car overall. So let's see how this thing goes. Wow, that's good. Yeah, these new recharges, man, they're quick. That is for sure. That's fun. That's super fun. We'll get in one more. But yeah, I mean, I guess kind of summing things up, this is such a cool looking Volvo. Having everything all blacked out, I think that's such a fun thing for Volvo to do. And you know what my hope is? That Volvo like does this on more of their vehicles, because I think that a lot of people would like Volvos that are maybe not like black paint with black badges, but like think about like a white Volvo with these black badges. I think a lot of people would go for that. Oh my gosh, this thing rips. This is a fun performance vehicle. And you know, unlike some of the other, we're gonna pop it back into the hybrid mode and the charge. Unlike some of the other performance sedans that you'll see out there, this thing's actually like relatively economical. Well, I shouldn't say relatively, it's actually really economical. And so, you know, here's the deal. If you basically want fun performance driving, and you know, this isn't necessarily going to be like sports car handling, but it still handles pretty well. Great acceleration, but then something that's actually economical. Like, I don't feel bad about flooring it in this car, if that makes sense. Whereas, I don't know, if I was in like a, I'm not saying this car's competing directly against each other, but if I was in like a BMW M3, I would, because it's like, oh man, I just burned how much gas? Oh man, I'm getting like 2 miles per gallon. Whereas with this, it's like, oh, I floored it a couple times, but I can go and, you know, charge it at home, and I'm still getting like a bajillion miles per gallon. So I definitely think that there's quite a bit of appeal to that, and I guess you guys will be able to critique my parking here, which is mediocre at best today, I suppose. But yeah, I think there's a lot of appeal to this plug-in hybrid, and I really do think plug-in hybrids are the future. So you can have, you know, some electric driving range, better performance, better efficiency, but you don't have to deal with the issues with full electric cars, you know, charging and, you know, range and all that kind of stuff. But let me know what you guys think about this S60. That's gonna sum things up with our video on this S60 Black Edition. And a huge shout out and thank you to the Ken Garf Volvo here in Salt Lake City, Utah, for giving me some time with this Volvo. Check out the intro in the description down below. Ask for Mark if you have any questions. I'll see ya.